November has arrived, but you'd never know it here in the Southeast. We're on this warm autumn evening downtown Atlanta, and the sold-out Phillips Arena are bracing for the return of Michael Jordan and his only trip to Georgia this season. It's Chapter 2 of Michael and the Jordanaires who tonight take on the Atlanta Hawks. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kevin Harlan. Well, as we continue to chronicle the comeback journey of Michael Jordan, you are struck by what big business he means for the NBA. Take Atlanta, for instance. This game sold out in this city in 3 minutes. 3 minutes. But if you think the effect on NBA arenas and crowd size is important and impressive, you should see the effect Jordan is having on this young Washington team, including third-year player Richard Hamilton, who for the last couple years has been asked to carry this team. Now he learns from Jordan.
The first time I seen him play, maybe I was like 6, 7 years old. And, you know, everybody was running around talking about they want to be like Mike. And, you know, I was one of them kids. I'm so amazed by him. You know, I think every time I see him, you know, it's like seeing a ghost, you know. But in turns, you know, I look at it as he's my teammate now. You know, I think it's a great opportunity for me to really grow, you know, as a player.
In the past, when crowds would storm into the arenas here in Atlanta to be mesmerized by Michael, you had a sense that perhaps they were only coming for that. But now they have a chance to see something brand new and different. This Atlanta team is one of the most improved teams in the Eastern Conference, led by budding superstar Shareef Abdur-Rahim. It's the home opener for the Hawks as they take on Michael Jordan and the Washington Wizards next on TNT. And it's all dressed up as they're in the national spotlight tonight. You know, their Atlanta Braves in Major League Baseball were such an attraction earlier this fall, but now it's basketball, NBA basketball. And this lady very excited for the return of Michael Jordan. And as we mentioned before, the improved team they now here have for the Atlanta Hawks. Now the starting lineups for tonight in Michael Jordan's second game back in his second comeback.
The head coach of the Wizards is Doug Collins. The Washington assistant coaches are Brian James, Larry Drew, and John Bach. The reserves for the Washington Wizards: a guard, 6'6", in his second year from Fresno State, number 4, Courtney Alexander. A center, 6'11", in his first NBA season from Glenn Academy in Brunswick, Georgia, not dressing tonight, Kwame Brown. A center, 7 feet, in his first NBA season from North Carolina, on the injured list, Brendan Haywood. A forward, 6'8", in his 9th season from Murray State, number 54, Popeye Jones. A guard, 6 foot, in his 4th NBA season from Nebraska, number 10, Tyronn Lue. A forward, 6'6", in his 4th season from UNLV, number 8, Tyrone Nesby. A guard, 6'6", in his first NBA season from DePaul, number 21, Bobby Simmons. A center, 6'10", in his first NBA season from Syracuse, number 36, Etan Thomas. And now, the starting lineup for the Washington Wizards. At a guard, 6'7", in his 3rd season from Connecticut, number 32, Richard Hamilton. At the other guard, 6 foot from Clemson in his 9th NBA season, number 12, Chris Whitney. At center, 6'9", in his 4th season from Georgetown, number 55, Jahidi White. At a forward, 6'11", in his 10th season from Duke, number 44, Christian Laettner. And at the other forward, 6'6", in his 14th NBA season from North Carolina, number 23, Michael Jordan. Atlanta Hawks. The head coach of the Atlanta Hawks is Lon Kruger. The Hawks assistant coaches are Gar Hurd, Eric Musselman, and Rick Mahorn. And here are your Hawks reserves. The forward, 6'10", in his third season from Old Dominion, number 6, Cal Bowdler. A forward, 6'9", in his fifth season from Marquette, number 4, Chris Crawford. A forward, 6'9", in his seventh season from Indiana, on the injured list, Alan Henderson. A forward, 6'9", in his second season from Cincinnati, number 1, DeMar Johnson. A forward, 6'11", in his ninth season from Croatia, number 7, Tony Kukoc. A center, 6'10", in his fourth season from Kentucky, number 2, Nazi Mohammed. A forward, 6'10", in his second season from Utah, number 13, Hano Metala. And a guard, 6'2", in his fifth NBA season from Kansas, number 11, Jacques Vaughn. And now the starting lineup for your Atlanta Hawks. A guard, 6'2", in his third season from Arizona, number 31, Jason Terry. A guard, 6'5", in his fifth season from Delaware State, number 15, Emmanuel Davis. A center, 6'10", in his seventh NBA season from Wyoming, number 42, Theo Rutland. A guard, 6'5", in his third season from Georgia Tech, number 5, Dion Glover. And a forward, 6'9", in his sixth NBA season from California, number 3, Shareef Abdur-Rahim. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2001-2002 Atlanta Hawks. And now, fans, please welcome Jason Terry and Shareef Abdur-Rahim, who have a very special message for you.
Thank you. On behalf of my teammates and the Atlanta Hawks organization, we'd like to offer our deepest heartfelt support to all the families and lives lost on the tragic events of September 11th. It was definitely a chapter in our nation's history that we hope never happens again. We'd like to also pay homage to all the rescue workers, firemen, and police officers who risked and sacrificed their lives for the people of our country. They are definitely our nation's heroes. Thank you and God bless.
And on behalf of the Hawks and the NBA, we just want to thank you for coming out tonight, and God bless. Enjoy the game.
At this time, would you please remain standing for the posting of the colors by members of the Atlanta Fire Department, and remain standing for a moment of silence in memory of those whose lives were forever changed by the events of September 11th. Following the moment of silence, please remain standing for God Bless America, performed by Hidden Beach recording artist Mike Phillips, followed by the national anthem performed by Def Jam Def Soul recording artist Kelly Price.
what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars to the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Arrow needs them in this ring.
TNT, where it's sold out Phillips Arena. One of the more beautiful arenas in the NBA. Great to have you with us tonight. Kevin Harlan alongside Hall of Fame coach John Thompson and NBA All-Star Danny Ainge. John, the fallout from Washington's game Tuesday night in New York. What'd you find?
Basically, I think it was very good. Everybody's expecting Michael to be the Michael of old. He set a standard for himself that is impossible for anybody else or Michael Jordan to reach. I think the other thing that's got to happen, though, is Courtney Alexander, Hamilton, and Leitner have to step up and join the party with him, Kevin. A big factor in this team, though, is transition defense. They've got to get back quickly. In the second half, the Knicks attacked them very quickly because they were very slow in getting back on defense.
Yeah, tempo is a big issue. When you take Danny Ainge at a look at a team in Atlanta that many people are saying could be the most improved team, not only in the Eastern Conference, but the NBA. What excites you about the Hawks?
Well, I think Pete Babcock did a great job of getting Shareef. Shareef is a great player. He's he's 24 years old. Vancouver's already gone through all the growing pains with this young kid. Averaged 20 and 9 last year. Already off to a great start, 28 and 18 in the first game. He's had to play his whole career so far against all the great power forwards in the West. He will be the best power forward in the Eastern Conference this year. The shot blocking of Theo Ratliff, who coach has thrived since being traded to Philadelphia. I think that I really am excited about this team.
It's going to be a fun team to watch. We got a fun game in store for you tonight. Right now, let's go to the fourth member of our crew across the way, Craig Sager.
Well, we like to refer to the Wizards as Michael Jordan and the Jordanaires. Just who are the Jordanaires? Well, according to Michael, mostly a group of young, talented kids who know how to play basketball, but do not know how to compete in the NBA. Tonight, you will see him coach, drill, direct, educate, enlighten, lecture, school, teach, tutor, and mostly show this team how to win. He said he's always been a leader by example. One of the biggest challenges he's ever had in his career is teaching this team how to win a game. Kevin?
Thank you, Craig. It was almost a flat performance by both the New York Knicks and the Washington Wizards on Tuesday night. We expect something far different, though, tonight here in Atlanta. Washington has played their game and all the hoopla surrounding them. And Atlanta lost in overtime Tuesday at Houston, but played well. They expect a good game tonight. Now you see the ceremonial red, white, and blue ball that is being thrown at every home opener this season around the NBA. And the guy with it right now, one of the great players in the history of the game, Dominique Wilkins. Now, both teams have signed that ball and another one. And what happens is they'll be auctioned with the proceeds going to victims of September 11th. Well, they've got over 20,000 inside this beautiful arena in downtown Atlanta. There has been a buzz in the city all afternoon long in preparation for Michael Jordan's lone visit to Atlanta this season. We told you how quick this game sold out. And in addition to being the home of the Atlanta Hawks, this is also the home of TBS, TNT, and CNN, and a host of other properties by AOL Time Warner. So we're home. We're glad to have you in our home tonight and bringing you the second game of Michael Jordan. And a lot of celebrities here from the Los Angeles Dodgers. Gary Sheffield is here. He lives in the offseason in the Atlanta area. And John Smoltz, the great pitcher for the Atlanta Braves. And the Braves again in the playoffs this year, upended by the Arizona Diamondbacks in Major League Baseball's postseason. So a look at Theo Ratliff, who was traded in the Mutombo deal the midpoint of last season, but Danny Ainge never played a single game for Atlanta because he had the cracked wrist. He is roaring and ready to go in an Atlanta Hawks uniform, and probably something to prove not only to the fans of the NBA, but to the Philadelphia fans for letting him go and coming down here.
Right. Well, Philadelphia needed Dikembe because they needed someone to help them immediately. And Theo was out for the entire year last year. But Atlanta gained 9 years, we think. Maybe 29 years if we really check Dikembe's birth certificate.
All right, John, how old is Mutombo? Can you speculate for us?
As you said in the beginning, Ratliff is a very fine player and a great addition to the Atlanta Hawks.
John, always the diplomat. So here we go in Atlanta. It's Rip Hamilton on top to Christian Laettner, and Michael Jordan's first touch of the basketball tonight. Guarded by 32-year-old Emmanuel Davis, and Jordan hits his first shot.
Well, one of the things that I think that happened last week is that he was involved in so many things in dealing with the tragedies that have occurred in this country that he had to be tired from all of the things that he did, and that's why he's so special. But today, I think he's a little bit more refreshed, and you may see a different kind of game.
Here's Davis for three. Jahidi White was in there battling with Deion Glover, not out of bounds. It goes. It'll be Atlanta's ball. They'll inbound.
Well, Jahidi, that's his job, is to go down and bang and be very physical on the inside. But right here, he's just going to try to use his strength and brute muscle to try to make Theo work. Theo is, what, 75 pounds underweight there trying to guard Jahidi.
Look at Shareef Abdur-Rahim school Christian Laettner on the baseline.
And that's where he's so tough. Once he faces you, he's so agile and handles the ball so well that somebody his size is going to have a great deal of difficulty moving laterally.
Oh, Jordan was going up. A poor pass by Laettner. They tried the alley-oop. A collision inside with Ratliff, and a foul called on Ratliff for the first time.
Well, right there, that's a tough matchup, and that's actually Michael's fault because Michael's man went away. He needs to be there on the strong side to help. There's no way that Christian Laettner can guard Rahim one-on-one.
Nice steal by Jason Terry. Clyde's in for two. And a turnover for Washington and Jordan.
It's interesting to watch, too. Atlanta's putting pressure on them full court. I think that's one of the soft spots in the Wizards team. New York put a lot of pressure early in the game, and Michael went back and handled the ball himself.
Laettner with the miss. Rebound by Jason Terry. And here comes one of the more exciting young players in the NBA to Deion Glover against Laettner. The rebound by White.
Well, and they were testing, as well as the fact that they pressured them. They went down on a fast break, and as I said in the opening, they were testing the transition defense by the Wizards. But that's what has to happen. Hamilton has to be aggressive offensively, as does Laettner.
And Danny show a lot of patience as well.
Yeah, they gotta have patience. They don't want long jumpers out of transition, but you got to get easy baskets in this league. And a half-court offense, Washington is not very good at, so they got to find ways to score.
Jason Terry working on Hamilton. Jason Terry has put in two straight.
Well, he knows Hamilton's not a great defender, and Jason can get a jump shot on Hamilton anytime he wants. But, you know, Jason, that's why you don't want to give guys easy baskets. Shareef gets a dunk, and Terry gets a steal in transition.
Michael Jordan has hit two in a row to start the game.
He's a pretty good half-court basketball player.
He has shown his skills before. You're right. Ratliff on top.
You know, one thing that wasn't pointed out, Kevin, the other night in New York was Michael hadn't practiced for 3 days. He's coming back from a bad knee, had fluid on his knee, in spite of all that other stuff he did public relations-wise in New York City.
Jordan has the steal. There's a foul at the other end on Emmanuel Davis, as Hamilton tried to take it the other way. Jordan looks fresher and far more alert tonight than he did on Tuesday.
Well, and as I said earlier, Jordan did a lot of things to help other people when he played the first game in New York. Now I think he's a little bit more focused. A lot of the things that he did were necessary and were good to do, but his hands are so quick, as well as the fact that he knows how to play defense.
Well, Craig Sager told us on Tuesday night what Jordan did. He was pounding the gavel at the stock exchange that afternoon. And then the night before that opener, Monday, he was at Ground Zero at the World Trade Center. And so there was a lot on his mind. He and his wife, Juanita, were there. And he was touched, very moved, was the report we got from people that were around that particular visit. So you're right, John. There was a lot on his mind.
I think one of the things, Kevin, those things are emotionally stressful to anybody who sees those things, too. And sometimes we expect Michael to be robotic because of the standard which he set for himself.
Inside, Jahidi White draws a personal foul, his first tonight for the Wizards. 9:21 to play. Washington has started 3 of 4 with Jordan going 2 of 2. As you take a look at first-year head coach Doug Collins, he coached Michael as a rookie in Chicago. Later on, he was a head coach for the Detroit Pistons. Jason Terry, who played college ball at Arizona, to Emmanuel Davis, who played last year with Seattle, and the rebound by Jordan, his first tonight.
But that's the thing that I want to see from Michael. If he's doing those little extra things, we know he can play offense, but you know his legs are back when you see him rebound and defend.
Nice pass by Jordan inside to Christian Laettner, and a foul called on Atlanta.
I love the movement by Christian Laettner right there. He saw Michael. He decided not to stand in space on the weak side, but did a nice job of cutting to the basket. Looked like he got the foul on Theo, but didn't get the call.
Did not get the call. A shot by Hamilton, who hit his first. Rebound by Christian Laettner.
That's what he's got to do. He's got to get involved in the game. Laettner is a very talented person, as well as doing what he did offensively. This team needs him to rebound.
Here's Deion Glover. Jordan guarding him. And a screen was set. Ball jarred free. Another Atlanta turnover. They now have 2 as Hamilton works into a thicket of Hawk players at the other end of the floor. Chris Whitney, who was red hot in New York, missing his first 3 tonight.
He rushed that shot a little bit. He was anxious to get a shot off. Hasn't got to touch the ball yet in the half-court offense, and thought he rushed it. He was making every one of those in New York.
There was a knee and a foul, and a second foul at that for Doug Collins' starting center, Jahidi White.
You know, Jahidi, you want to be physical. He's got a lot of strength and advantage over Theo, but you can't get stupid fouls. You know, they just don't have the depth. With Kwame Brown on the injured list and Brendan Haywood on the injured list right now, or on the bench anyway in street clothes, they just don't have enough fouls to give at that position. Those are silly fouls.
He can't afford to get in foul trouble if they were well. You know he can if they can. But Jahidi, please, he has 1 excuse me and 5 fouls.
Well, John, if anybody knows Jahidi, it's you. You coached him at Georgetown as Chris Whitney just picked up a foul guarding Emmanuel Davis. So Tyrone Nesby comes in. He is 4 years out of UNLV. The guy on the right there is Brendan Haywood. He is out of North Carolina, and the coaches are raving about his performance on the injured list, now off in about a week. And then Kwame Brown is the 19-year-old high school player, the #1 overall pick in the draft, and he twisted an ankle the other night at the Garden as he was coming down on a rebound, but he had, 3 blocks and 3 rebounds in very limited minutes.
A lot of people talk about the Twin Towers that Chicago's trying to develop there with the 2 young first-round picks. I like these guys better. I think Kwame Brown and Brendan Haywood, we'll see 3 or 4 years down the road who got the better Twin Towers.
Jason Terry has 6 of Atlanta's 8 points. Here comes Chris Whitney. He had a good game the other night of 18 points against the Knicks. Shot clock at 9. Laettner finds Nesby for 3.
And we see right now Washington's got a little bit more movement. They got Christian Laettner, center, who will guard Ratliff, and Tyrone Nesby, who's a small forward, will try to defend Shareef and take away his quickness and try to make Shareef more of a post-up player versus a slasher.
Here's Jason Terry, who tried to carve his way inside, and a foul called on the Washington Wizards, who was double-teamed on the play. Nesby will pick up his first as you take a look at Rip Hamilton, who played for the NCAA champion UConn Huskies back in '99.
Nesby did a great job the other night in New York. Hit some big shots, and Collins put him in the game and couldn't take him out because he was so good.
Jason Terry, meanwhile, has put in 8, and he has not missed from the floor, 3 of 3. And a couple free throws. Jordan with Davis on it. The drive. Michael Jordan inside. 12 minutes ago. Leitner back to Michael for 2.
And that's what we said in New York. You know, the one test of Michael, which Michael, I mean, he hasn't shown us the ability to finish at the basket like he did. He doesn't have to dunk it, but just try to get to the free throw line and put pressure on that defense. And his legs are quite not there with that fluid being drained from his knee right before the game.
But already a different looking Jordan tonight.
Well, it's a different looking Jordan. He's very much more energetic. You see on this play that he's going to the basket. I think last year, the year before, had he been playing regularly, you would have said duck.
Well, now Washington has got some foul problems with big people inside. Tyrone Nesby just picked up his second personal foul. Jahidi White is on the bench with 2. And we're just 7:05 remaining in the first quarter.
You know, that is Atlanta's strategy, to try to make Michael a driver. They have the best shot blocker in basketball, and Theo Ratliff there to goaltend and make Michael go to the basket. We've seen him shoot that medium-range jump shot for the last 3 or 4 years of his career in Chicago. So that's the strength. Take that away from him and make him go to Theo.
Danny, it's hard to believe, but on Tuesday night, you said that at about this time of the first quarter, Jordan looked winded as Popeye Jones checks in. Jordan looked tired. What do you think now after the first 5 minutes or so of this first quarter?
I still think it. I mean, he's not in anywhere the kind of condition that he was when I played against him. I can tell you that. I mean, he never seemed to tire and got stronger as the game went along. But, you know, they're going to try to get him out early in the first quarter like they do John Stockton in Utah if they can stay close.
Leitner trying to be more active tonight, and sure enough, he has now hit 2 of his first 4 shots for 4 points.
I love the way Leitner's playing right now.
I do too, and he should be playing that way because he has the skills. The worst thing Leitner ever did is showed folks that he could do something. And a lot of times you hope that young players will be able to do, but we know that he can play. So now he's got to get out and do exactly what he's doing now. I tell you, I don't think it's a good idea letting Jordan go to the basket because I tell you what, if he can't make the shot at the end of it, he certainly passes well enough to get the ball to people for easy shots.
So Leitner picks up a foul, and at the free throw line, Shareef Abdur-Rahim.
Well, Michael always grabs the bottom of his pants and stretches those long shorts all the way down below his knees, but he's doing it a lot, Coach. He's sweating hard, and he looks like he's breathing hard and chewing that gum a lot faster than normal.
I think playing on that Wizards team, anybody of Michael's ability will be sweating hard.
That's exactly right.
I don't think that's an indication. And that might even be an understatement.
Washington is led by as many as 6. Jordan again flying inside, counted for 2 on the goaltend, and he was fouled on the play. So Michael will go to the free throw line.
Well, this is their strategy, except not to let him go baseline, but the Theo comes over, or that's Rahim comes over. Looks like he got it on the way up. That might have been a Michael Jordan call that you think he earns, Coach. Oh, that's smothered chicken right there.
Oh, what does smothered chicken mean? Goaltending?
No, that's a block.
Jordan completes the 3-point play. MJ 4 of 5 for the game, 9 points, and he leads all scores in the contest and gives the Wizards their biggest lead tonight of 7. Terry to Ratliff.
This is what the Wizards have to be able to do, is establish some kind of inside defense also. Particularly with the twin towers sitting on the bench right now.
Jordan for 2. Rebound Glover, torn away by Jones. Saved by into Michael Jordan.
I think Michael likes that strategy, funneling him towards the basket also.
I thought Michael took a bad shot transition. Chris Whitney was open, should have passed it. Whitney, very unselfish, found Michael for the easy dunk. And that's those stats we're keeping. I hope we're keeping them in the truck tonight. Air Jordan.
And Jordan gets a standing O as he goes to the sideline for Washington. So make it be known, at 6:03 in the first quarter of his second game, Michael Jordan throws down his first dunk. And then moments ago, Michael Jordan with his signature move in the first dunk since he resurrected his career. And he looks terrific with his start tonight here in Atlanta.
And look, he's getting the big air points tonight.
Already.
He doubled his total in New York. He only had 2 big air points, so.
Washington, like they did against the New York Knicks, with an early lead. Now 22-13. Kevin Harlan, John Thompson, Danny Ainge, Craig Sager in Atlanta.
Christian Laettner is far more active than he has been.
And here's Nazr Mohammed in the game for the first time with the good corkscrew move off the block over Laettner.
That ball actually slipped out of his hand. He was rubbing his hands on the way back. You never admit those, Coach. You don't do that when you make those shots. But I think that Washington's got to be happy with him posting Nazr Mohammed.
Tony Kukoc has already checked in for Atlanta. Here's Jordan dancing with a two-point shot, which won't go. Michael now goes 5 of 7. So the Hawks have brought in a couple new players. Mohammed along with Kukoc, and necessitated by foul problems. A couple moves by the Washington Wizards, namely Popeye Jones and Kukoc and Jordan, two former Chicago Bulls. Shot clock at 4. And a three-point shot by Davis let go. Mohammed had it knocked away by Jordan in a 24-second shot clock violation.
Well, this is about the time that Doug Collins wants to get Michael out of the game. But with Tony Kukoc on the court defending Michael and Michael defending him last time down the court, well, I guess Michael's not going to be defended by Tony Kukoc. Wise move by Lon Kruger.
Remember, Michael really never liked Tony when he was playing with Chicago. They gave him a lot of trouble, although Tony was a part of 3 of the 6 championships with the Bulls.
Oh, Tony's a terrific player and had a lot to do with their success in Chicago as well.
If I was Michael, I'd love him, particularly if he was guarding me. You know, he's like a Christmas wish guarding Michael out there. You know, one of the things I think is happening, the Wizards are doing a better job, Kevin, a much better job defensively, because they have to play good floor defense because they don't have a shot blocker back there.
Tony Kukoc, who did not play any in the offseason because of foot and back problems, hits a shot right there. He played ordinary on Tuesday in Houston. And now again, Kukoc and Jordan. How about this?
Yeah, how about it? Goodbye.
Jones is open. Rebound by the 6'11" Tony Kukoc. Davis. And he stepped out of bounds when he caught the pass, and an Atlanta turnover. They've got 4, and Washington with just 1 turnover in the game.
And we talk about the new rules right here, but Michael's got Kukoc. He knows he can get on it, but as he puts the ball on the floor, Shareef is strong side elbow, and there's Emmanuel Davis waiting strong side block. There's nowhere for him to go, even if he can go by Tony Kukoc.
Hamilton, a good pick by Jones. A rebound inside by former University of Kentucky Wildcat Nazr Mohammed. And a whistle and a foul. And it goes on Popeye Jones. I'd like to tell you there's some kind of clever reason why they call him Popeye, but it was simply when they brought him home from the hospital, his older brother thought he looked like the cartoon character Popeye.
Hey, you guys!
You knew Danny would get that in, didn't you, John? I mean, you know, it's the same thing every night.
I love that guy, though. Popeye's cool, man.
Oh, he loves him after. Hey, you guys! I love that guy. Friends like that, Popeye doesn't need any enemies.
That's exactly right. Thank you, John. And at the free throw line, Nazr Mohammed. Michael is on the bench by plan, by design. Again, gulping air and working up a pretty good lather, but boy, was he impressive. 5 of 8 to start the game. A couple rebounds, a steal, 11 points. And a nice way to begin it. He did more in the first couple minutes of this game than he did the entire game Tuesday in the season opener at the Garden.
And this is where the Wizards team has to remain aggressive and remain smart. They can't have a letdown every time Michael comes out of the ball game. This guy Whitney is one of the guys that when they played against the Knicks that I thought was aggressive and very confident.
Knocked off balance, got it to go. Counted for 2 on a pretty play by Chris Whitney, who is knocked off balance, picks up his first 2 points of the night, and took it inside into the teeth of Atlanta's defense, and a foul called on Jacques Vaughn.
And that was a long time late call right there. That was a continuation, but you got the benefit of the bounce and the call.
They have now switched the foul and put it on Jason Terry. Whitney again.
Well, one guy we didn't see the other night was Tyrone Lue, and I think Tyrone will be a part of this game tonight. Come in and give him some energy off the bench when Michael's out of the game.
Tyrone Lue played for the played for the Los Angeles Lakers over the last couple of years. Has a couple championship rings to show it. Abdur-Rahim dribbles off his foot. 3-on-2. Hamilton floats and fires and hits.
Beautiful play right there. And Jason picks up a couple cheap ones right there, giving him 3-point play opportunities.
even with the talent that the Atlanta Hawks have, they still, Danny, don't seem to have that one guy that just takes over.
No, they don't. And, you know, Raheem has to become that guy. And he's 24. He's at that stage. He's in the 6th year, a 20-point-a-game scorer. But right now, you know, he's strictly been a perimeter player in this game. They haven't tried to get him the ball on the block, where I think he has an advantage. He's a terrific low-post player, and he's a terrific free throw shooter.
Hamilton at the line, a career 86% free throw shooter, has 6, and that one will trickle in. Now 7. Richard Hamilton, number 7 overall pick by Washington a couple years ago, and from the University of Kansas, here is Jacques Vaughn.
And I love the pressure Tyrone Lue's putting on the ball, trying to get Vaughn to get out of the offense right there. Good defense.
Good coach with a nice move. Chris Crawford trying to slam it, held on. Offensive basket interference, wipe away the 2, and it goes back.
Right there, no box out, a lot of penetration right there. Nobody put the... Boy, he was up there.
What about a technical, Danny, for hanging on the rim?
Well, I think it was...
self-preservation?
Could have been, yeah.
But the aggressiveness a coach loves. I mean, you look at the reaction from their bench.
Jordan has 11. The Wizards lead it 27-19.
Drama is teaming up China's best detective with LA's worst.
Which one of y'all kicked me?
Jackie Chan.
Look out!
Chris Tucker. Rush Hour. Sunday after NASCAR on TNT.
You want to tell me what made you a criminal?
What made you a criminal?
Nothing made me a criminal. I am a criminal.
Danny Ainge was assessing the revamped Atlanta Hawks with now Shareef Abdur-Rahim, who comes from Vancouver, where he was in exile, but played in the All-Star game a season ago. And they've also added size. With Matumbo gone, they got Theo Ratliff from the Philadelphia 76ers. Didn't play last year because of a cracked wrist. Now he plays. Now he starts. He had 6 blocked shots against Houston on the season-opening Tuesday game.
Well, and I think that that's what he does extremely well. And anytime you get a guy in the back who can block shots, it enables your front guys to put pressure on the basketball. That's what's going to be interesting with Lou on the other team, is to see can he pressure without Shaq being in the back, particularly offensive-minded guards.
So here's 6-foot-tall Tyronn Lue with a nice deceptive move on Jacques Vaughn, feeding it inside for Jones, who's out there with Leitner, Hamilton, and Courtney Alexander. That's the second turnover, a 3-second violation called on Washington. And quickly for Atlanta, Crawford, Nazir Muhammad, Abdur-Rahim, Tony Kukoc, and Jacques Vaughn.
Washington's playing good basketball. I like Tyrone Lue's pass right there. Good penetration, gets the easy opportunity for Popeye, but he just doesn't have the length to finish. He's used to throwing those balls to Shaq. Those are easy, too.
Here's Chris Crawford out of Marquette. Shy on the shot, picked up by Lue. He's off to the races and firing down court to Courtney Alexander. Nice rejection by Abdur-Rahim. A second shot won't drop, and Vaughn comes streaking the other way. The former understudy to John Stockton with the Utah Jazz. Kukoc chiseling inside.
Courtney's got to get loose. The Wizards need him to get loose also, because he's got too many good offensive skills. He's still very tentative out there. In a matter of time, I think he'll loosen up and become more of an offensive factor.
3-second violation.
Yeah, and that was a horrible offensive execution. The ball went over to Tony Kukoc, and he had Raheem right at the basket like we just talked about. He decided to play one-on-one basketball.
It's a good pass by Christian Leitner. Hamilton couldn't hold on. A lot of people down low, and Vaughn the other way. He surveys it underneath to Muhammad. Rebound by Popeye Jones as Michael Jordan continues to watch on the sideline, taking a breather. Leitner on the floor.
The Wizards are playing with more of an air of confidence now than they were earlier. I think that that's the effect that Michael has on you. You stand around, but then it comes to a point where he makes so many demands that you look at Hamilton, you look at Leitner, they're involved in this ball game. Michael is now yelling out on the floor to him and telling them what to do.
That's what Craig Sager talked about. But Doug Collins says, listen, Michael wanted me to coach when he was the then part owner and team president. When he comes back, I felt like I had now allies. We think on the same level. We're on the same page. Like we mentioned before, they had a history together. Rookie year for Michael Jordan. Collins was the coach.
Both teams right now are just having a tough time finishing. They're getting easy opportunities around the basket, and they can't make them.
Don't you think, Danny, this time of year, particularly just coming off of exhibition, when coaches are drilling and doing a lot of teaching of patterns, players are thinking as opposed to reacting. A lot of the timing is not there early in the year.
Danny, when you were a young player, did you have veterans trying to coach you off the sideline like Jordan's trying to do with these young guys right now?
Are you kidding me?
Oh, my God.
You never listen to anyone. Are you kidding?
Shot fought off balance inside. Muhammad tried to tap it. Here comes Rip Hamilton, 3-on-2, led by Lou, off to Alexander, rejected by Crawford, and an offensive foul. Called on Courtney Alexander.
And I like Crawford.
Yeah, he's a terrific athlete.
He gets involved. I mean, I like a guy like that. I mean, he's not just standing around. He may be making some mistakes, but you gotta like his effort in terms of just getting involved in this thing.
Absolutely.
He's a former baseball player, too. He played in the Houston Astros minor league system, did Chris Crawford for Atlanta.
He's got to be good then.
Well, he was a pitcher.
Oh, okay. They're not athletes.
Right, no, not at all. Like place kickers in football, right? Abdur-Rahim smothered inside and tries to get his way out, and does.
And that's his first post catch so far. And I like his aggressiveness, even against the double team.
7 for Abdur-Rahim.
Well, he's got a lot of ability, but I definitely think he's got to get out there. He's playing like an equal opportunity offense now.
Nice pass by Crawford into Abdur-Rahim after the Washington turnover.
And those are the kind of turnovers that kill you. You know, Lou made the bad pass right there, but the timing was off. Both guys came off the curl at the exact same time.
Washington is now hit 2 in a row after they had missed 6 in a row. Lou, he played at Nebraska. Off balance. Rebound by Abdur-Rahim, who had 28 points the other night in Houston. Final seconds. Thought no look, drive, and kicks it out. Crawford trying to beat the buzzer. It was a 2-point try. But nonetheless, a fine first quarter. Jordan looked like Jordan with 11 points, including a dunk. And Washington at the end of one leads by 5, 28-23. Would you look at
just next to the Centennial Park, the site of the 1996 Olympic Games and all the festivities with that. The Atlanta Hawks opening their season before a sold-out Phillips Arena. Now, obviously, a lot of people are here to see Michael Jordan since the game sold out in 3 minutes. But this is the most excited I've seen the Atlanta Hawks fans since 1993, 1994. If you remember that year, they won 57 games and lost 25. What a turnaround this franchise had as in recent years, however, because last year the record was exactly the opposite, 25 and 57. Pete Babcock knew he had to rebuild this team. Getting Shareef Abdur-Rahim in a trade around draft day was probably the biggest move this franchise has made since they traded John Drew at $1 million for Dominique Wilkins back in the early 80s.
Segs, good report. Thank you, Deion Glover, back in the game. We begin the second quarter. Michael Jordan has come off the bench. When he left the game, they were up by 5. They're up by 5 with him gone, but a jump shot right there is put in by newly instated Hano Metzola out of Utah.
That's one of the weaknesses of the Wizards also, Kevin, that you've got to be able to box out, hold him to one shot. You can't give him 2 shots.
Jordan feed inside for Leitner, who was unsuspecting of the pass. And a turnover, the 5th tonight by Washington, up by 3. Jordan, Lou, Alexander, Leitner, and Popeye Jones, the Washington 5.
Michael got a little upset with Christian Leitner that time. So much for that easy teaching.
Well, Christian's a veteran, and he can take that a little bit more, but I like Christian's energy. At least he's moving without the ball.
Playing very well, and he's been out there the whole time, Danny. He's doing a lot of little things, setting screens. He's playing defense and supporting, and offensively, he's more aggressive.
Alexander with the quick shot, maybe a little early on the shot. Here comes Glover out there with Vaughn, Crawford, Metzola, Theo Ratliff.
You never know where to hit that happy medium. You want Alexander to be aggressive, but maybe not that quick pulling the trigger.
Popeye Jones, who's played with a host of teams, including Dallas and Boston. Washington missed their last 9 of 11 from the field. Lou for 2. And tapped in. That's counted. They're going to put in 2 points. And a foul called on the play. It's on Atlanta. And the foul goes on Metzola.
And right here, the shot goes up, and there's no box out right there. Popeye's got inside position, and Hano just comes over his back. Great play by Popeye. He's been doing that for years.
Jones hits the free throw. And Washington losing by a couple points at the Garden in their season opening game on Tuesday, leading 31-27 here early in the second quarter. Glover to Randall. Picked up by Jones. Theo doesn't like big bodies, but he maneuvers well around the body of Jones that time and picks up 2.
Well, and that's what I wanted to see. That's one of the things that I asked when we were at practice today. Can he post up? And he can do that. Obviously, that's not something he's used for a lot, but he has the athleticism to do it.
Did you see that fake by Jordan on Glover inside Courtney Alexander? Metzola gathers it in, out to Jacques Vaughn. To Medola, into Leitner. Oh, what a play by Atlanta. Ron Lou takes it the other way. Washington is shooting 40%. The Hawks shooting 48% from the field. Jordan doubled again, puts it down. Michael's got 13.
And Michael's going to have to keep making outside shots because when he's put it on the floor, he's drawing the attention of everybody.
And that's what Dion Glover does so well. Slash inside.
And no shot blocking out there. Christian was a little late getting down on defense, and Popeye, again, he can't touch the bottom of the rim. No defensive presence on the Washington Wizards. Right here, 3 guys going to the ball. Bad transition defense. Christian Leitner just getting late. Doesn't get the charge in time. And Theo is becoming a better offensive player, but he's got a mismatch down there. Popeye, no defensive presence.
Timeout.
TBS, TNT, and McDonald's are throwing an NBA house party, and you're invited. Log on to NBA.com or AOL keyword NBA.com to enter. Winners get a trip to Atlanta to hang out with the NBA on TNT studio team and enjoy a Thanksgiving feast. The NBA house party presented by McDonald's.
This Thanksgiving, one man's future is in the past.
It is the year 1328.
Now he's tripping.
Who be you? Who be I? I be stomping your butt. You put your hand on me one more again.
There were some perplexing off-season moods by a lot of teams, but none more curious than Phoenix trading Jason Kidd for Stephon Marbury, and look what Kidd has done with New Jersey.
Well, New Jersey's in heaven. They feel the best guard in basketball right now, the way he's been playing. But, you know, I think that they just felt that they couldn't get over the hump with him. 55 wins every year, and they just couldn't get him out of the first round of the playoffs.
And Baron Davis continues to carry on where he left off last year. A great young player for Paul Silas and the Charlotte Hornets.
Well, I love him. I think he's a warrior. Both he and Jason Kidd know how to win. They compete to win, not just to play.
Michael Jordan after the timeout taken by Washington. This is the shot. Popeye Jones inside, hooks it home.
Well, in Atlanta now, Kevin, is showing the softness on the defensive board. You can't let Washington's not a great rebounding team. Certainly Popeye does a good job of sliding inside, putting it back, but you can't let that happen.
And that's one of the detriments of having a guy like Theo, is Theo came all the way over and tried to block Michael Jordan's jump shot from the weak side, and when he committed to go for the block, it left the boards open.
Foul called on a Tom Thomas, who just checked in for the Wizards.
I think they're allowing that ball to come into the post way too easy. They got to fight that, and with the new rules, you should be able to front the post a lot more and make it much more difficult to get post touches.
Jacques Vaughn, who wasn't signed for a whole lot, but would like to secure the starting point guard position here as he battles Emmanuel Davis for time. You can see the field goal story from the beginning and since. And here's Jordan, a screen by Thomas. Michael drives off balance, and a rebound pulled down by Crawford. Kicks it out to Vaughn, inside to Glover, and a charge, and Lou took it like a man inside. A turnover.
That's a really bad play by Jacques right there. He needs to give that ball up. Fundamental basketball 101. Stop at the free throw line. He's just going charging, totally out of control.
Vaughn picks up his first.
Well, the thing you like about Juan, too, though, is that he's very aggressive. One of the reasons why Lou's been able to pressure him is that he's not an offensive-minded person. If he was going to the basket and able to complete his shots, I'd be very curious to see whether he could get by Lou.
Jordan inside, squeezes the trigger, and somebody lost him.
He looks really fresh.
He does.
Oh, yeah, and that's what they want him to do, right? Drive to the basket and go to Rattler.
He went around Rattler.
He accommodated him. He accommodated him.
Jordan's got 15 points on a Metzola from outside. Good-looking player, and Danny, maybe the steal of last year's draft in the second round out of Utah.
Yeah, 6'10" player and does a good job. Does a little bit of everything. Had a great career at University of Utah.
He has 6 points, all have come in this second quarter. Tyronn Lue for Jordan, who sizes up the defense of Glover. Dances and fires. Michael Jordan. 17 points. He is in his offensive rhythm tonight. Glover at the other end slams it for 2.
Yeah, but, you know, that time Mike was mad at Lou and didn't get back on defense. He was fussing because he was trying to help and teach. And then the defense and the offense ran right by him. So Mike was at fault that time.
And Michael's blaming it on Lou that time. I'm not so sure. I thought Michael had plenty of time to get back and cover zone, especially Lou doing a great job of pressuring the ball for him.
Courtney Alexander for 2. Over the backboard and out of bounds. Jordan is not getting a lot of help. He's got 17. The next closest guy, Hamilton, was 7.
Well, Glover has a tough time, but watch how good Michael uses this screen. He just gets his arm. There's no room right there. He can't fight through that screen. Michael goes right around Theo. Just outthinks him. Gets it up quick off the glass.
Well, and that's one of the things you talk about his jumping ability, but I think he's really gotten stronger because he pushed his way through that.
Chris Whitney has taken the place of Tyronn Lue. Shot ball misses the shot, but it's cleaned up and tapped in nicely by Theo Ratliff.
And Theo just threw Thomas out of his way right there. Just knew the shot was going up, and Thomas didn't anticipate the physical play. He's a lot stronger than Theo and just got outsmarted.
Jordan had time to think about a 3 and fans, and here comes Glover.
And that was the problem. He was too open that time. That's a difficult shot sometimes when nobody's near.
Tied again, now at 39.
Tell you what, doesn't speak much for either team's defense right now.
Ratliff is doubled over Tom Thomas. Off of Metzola and out of bounds.
Theo did a dance step on the post there. He got away with a serious travel.
Thomas needs to loosen up a little bit, too. He needs the playing time. He's a much better basketball player, I think, than he's playing right now. Once you get out there, you get a little bit more acclimated to it and you relax some.
Alexander confusion on Atlanta's defense. Jordan picks up the loose ball, and from 14, can't get it. Thomas tapped it in. A whistle is blown. Wipe away the 2. And a foul called inside on a Tom Thomas. That's the second on him. Michael Jordan has 17 points. We've had a couple ties, including now at 39.
Isolated on the wing right over here, and as he goes to the basket, he gets a shot. He takes Glover to the baseline, goes up for the jump shot, knocks it down, decides right here he wants to talk to Tyronn Lue standing right here. Lue's got to get back and stop the basket first, but Michael was trying to coach and play at the same time. That's a very difficult task. You got to do that during the timeouts and during dead balls.
Well, that's one of the burdens of being Michael on this team, because he's playing for himself and also playing for a lot of other people. But obviously that was a mistake that he made. He should have gotten back a lot faster, although Tyronn Lue is the back man and should have been zoning at that point.
Washington led at one time by 11 points. Now we're tied at 39. They've had an 8 of 12 shooting second quarter.
I expected the Hawks to be far more aggressive than this, because particularly with some of the new additions and some of the new talent they have.
Emmanuel Davis fanning from outside. Jason Terry is back in the game. So is Nazir Muhammad and Abdur-Rahim. Whitney for 3 at the other end. Rebound by Abdur-Rahim.
Thought he rushed it again. You know, he had a pretty good rhythm in New York, and he just rushed a couple of those shots. But Emmanuel Davis can knock down that three-point shot, and when he does, they're going to get the lead because they're getting a lot of open opportunities.
This is a guy I want to see go to work because he has so much offensive talent, and he's just playing passively within the context of the offense. An equal opportunity thing with him. He needs to be as aggressive as Michael is.
Popeye Jones has gathered in 7 rebounds tonight. Here's Whitney on top, picked up by Jason Terry. Jordan trying to get free, guarded by Emmanuel Davis. Shot clock at 4. Alexander has to slash and hits it on the fly.
Good play. I like the aggressiveness. The double team came in. Michael, no hesitation, went right out to Whitney, swung it quickly to Alexander, and he attacked.
And Alexander said, thank you, I needed that. He really needed that because he's a much better offensive player than he's showing.
Jones fights Abdur-Rahim well, forcing the turnover. Whitney spoon feeds to Tom Thomas.
Beautiful pass.
Wasn't
right
that pretty?
And a good catch by Thomas and finish right there. But Popeye's doing a good job. He's using his experience and his toughness, and he is not getting beat by Rahim. He's doing an excellent job.
And remember, he was put in because Jahidi White was in foul trouble in the first couple minutes of the game with 2 quick ones.
And Leitner is just not a good matchup for in defense of Rahim. Rahim's too quick off the dribble.
Popeye's using his hands a little bit too.
Here goes Muhammad, shot clock at 2. He's got to throw it up and hits it. He was a nice player last year when there were some injuries on Atlanta and finished the season strong. Michael Jordan working on Glover. Doubled by Davis. Oh, he got it again. Michael Jordan's got 19 points. That equals his total from Tuesday night against the New York Knicks.
And that's what they talk about, you know, why you don't want to double team sometimes, Michael. Here comes the double team, and he's going to get the shot anyway, and you have one less guy on the defensive board. Sees the double team, goes away from it, spins baseline, gets the shot.
Glover picks up the foul. Michael will be at the free throw line. A career 82% free throw shooter. 19 points, as we mentioned before, on Tuesday. He was 5 of 6 from the free throw line. Fanning right there, picked up by Muhammad.
They talk about the Wizards, other players getting open looks, and last year they couldn't get them. Number 23 is the reason why.
Tony Kukoc back in the game for the Atlanta Hawks, and inside, spinning on the block, Abdur-Rahim, who has been quiet so far with just 9 points and a Popeye Jones foul.
With just 9 points, he hasn't missed it, so he's only had 1 miss, and he's getting the ball. I think they just need to look for him. He's been posting up aggressively down low. His teammates aren't looking for him enough, and he's been frustrated a few times.
Yeah, and sometimes you got to make sure they look for you. If you're the star of the team, you can let them know. I just don't think, Danny, he didn't show signs of anger or aggressiveness. You know, anger isn't always bad out on the court. If he's a star, he's got to act like it.
Well, he's 24. He grew up in nearby Marietta, Georgia. And he remembers those teams of the 80s when the Hawks were perennial 50-game winners and in the playoffs.
Well, Dominic Wilk is one of the great players of all time. Definitely should be in the top 50 of the history of the NBA. I think that's a farce. But Shareef is the most complete offensive player that Atlanta's had since Dominic.
Heidi White back in the game with a couple fouls. And Michael again working on Davis. Rebound by Nazir Muhammad.
This is what I'd like to see the Hawks do, too. Get out and run some. They look like a team that has athleticism, but they're playing very conservatively.
White with his second rebound for Washington. Here comes Michael Jordan, picked up again by Davis with under 3 to play here in the first half. White, who goes right at Nazir Muhammad and then tried to pass it, and the ball at the underneath portion of the backboard. Jason Terry falls the other way by newly instated Richard Hamilton.
Well, and first of all, Jahadi made a terrible decision because he went under the basket. Maybe he should have handed it off to the cutter. I think it was Whitney. But then the transition defense was terrible, and that's one of the things that Collins has been talking about he's afraid of.
Kukoc watching Hamilton through a screen, and now on the wing. Richard Hamilton. White had it. Abdur-Rahim gathers it in. Nice pass into Kukoc. Touch pass back out to Emmanuel Davis. 2 points.
And they've kept him out of the transition, but those are just 2 terrible plays. Jahidi dropped the ball, made a bad turnover. They've got it. Any shot is better than a turnover.
The Atlanta Hawks have a 2-point lead, and that ties their biggest lead tonight.
Well, it's showing they're handling the ball real well. They're very unselfish. They came there. The Wizards aren't getting back at all to spot up on open shooters.
Washington calls a timeout.
There's a world just beyond the one you know, and a cold-blooded tale of revenge.
I never thought a year ever come back. I thought that nightmare was over, but it's here again, and, you know, I'm just got to step up to the plate. I'm trying to make him go to the hole. I know he probably done lost a step of his quickness, so I'm trying to play up on him and take his pull-up game away and try to send him in there to Theo so Theo can get a couple of block shots if he can, and just try to do all I can, just work hard.
Well, it's been a nightmare for Glover so far today. 19 points so far in the first half. They've been double-teaming Michael, and he's still getting 19 points, getting to the basket and shooting over him.
As you take a look at Michael Jordan, and as you take a look at the 3 Musketeers, Charles the Jet and Ernie Johnson, they have become extremely popular tonight. You see the people lining up and back at Charles to get autographs, and they got to keep him away, just like they have to do with John and Danny here courtside.
Well, at least Michael's watching the first half of the game before he goes on air.
Man.
You know, that basket that Jahadi just got is the type of basket he's got to get. He's got to be rolling and cutting as opposed to posting a lot. He's got to step out, help somebody else. Once they come off of him, then he goes to the basket. A couple of times he was in the middle posting.
Jacques Vaughn has come back in to take the place of Emmanuel Davis as Tony Kukoc chases an errant pass away and out of bounds. As you take a look at Lon Kruger, 18 years a college coach. Big success at Kansas State for Lon Kruger, at the University of Florida, the University of Illinois. He's taken teams to the Final Four. Now in his second year in the NBA, Christian Laettner is back in as well. Michael Jordan takes his 22nd shot of the night. And here comes Abdur-Rahim the other way. Vaughn over Whitney. And throws up an air ball.
I mean, that's just atrocious basketball. You got Rahim. There's a guy that could score. He had Michael Jordan on him and didn't even try to be patient enough to get him an opportunity to post.
Well, Rahim is not contrary enough, Danny. You know, he's got to want the ball. He's got to let his teammates know it. Coaches like getting on good offensive players, but you certainly don't like encouraging them to shoot. You want him to overshoot rather than undershoot with his ability.
Hamilton inside. A good pass by Michael Jordan. With under a minute to play here in the second quarter. 9 points for Hamilton.
Good job of moving without the ball. Again, in New York, that's an adjustment that they've made. They're continuing to move off the double team.
Tony Kukoc hits a three, and Tony Kukoc a season ago was number 6 in the NBA in three-point shooting.
Well, he's another guy that's too passive offensively in proportion to his skill.
Jordan launching a three with the miss. He's taken 2 from above the arc tonight. He has missed both. Jordan has 19 points.
His misses look better than a whole lot of people's makes, though, don't they, Kevin?
But he looks good tonight, John. He looks sharper.
Well, I think he has more rest, Kevin. As we indicated earlier in the show, he did a lot of things that were great things when he was in New York to alleviate a lot of the pressures that are going on in our society, but he had to be tired from doing some of those things.
So Atlanta with a 3-second violation. 11 Atlanta turnovers in the first half. That is thrown away. That's Washington's 5th turnover of the first half.
And that was the first 8-second violation we've seen with the new rules. They just walked it up the court, and Terry had no idea what was going on in the backcourt.
And I'm amazed that more people are pressuring more to force that.
And a shot by Terry is good from three-point territory. Abdur-Rahim trying to beat the clock and does not. But Atlanta will go to halftime with their biggest lead tonight. 20 minutes, 19 points, with some words for Christian Laettner. Let's send it over to Craig Sager.
We mentioned Michael has 19. Shareef, you're up there in double figures already as well. You've only taken 4 shots, 11 points. You need to be more aggressive in that second half?
No, I think we got a lot of guys going right now. I don't think so much me being aggressive. I had some good looks. They fouled me, went to the free throw line. I'm not really concerned with that. I'm more concerned with us just coming out in the second half and getting this win. Moving the ball, playing together, and doing that. I think me getting my shot to take care of itself.
Defensively, do you have to make any adjustments on Michael?
I think in the first half, I think what hurt us the most is everybody knows what he's capable of. I think we're getting caught looking and watching him too much, paying too much attention and trying to help the guy that's guarding him instead of, paying attention and helping, but also seeing our man too, seeing man and ball. But we'll be okay. Second half, we're going to make these adjustments and try to come out and get this win.
All right, thanks a lot. Let's go back to Kevin.
Okay, Craig, thank you very much. Our AT&T halftime report is on deck. You take a look at Charles with Dominique Wilkins. We're back to beautiful Phillips Arena at halftime after this.
Time for the AT&T halftime report here on TNT. Atlanta buzzing tonight. They got a college football game. Georgia Tech playing North Carolina. And they've got the home opener for the Atlanta Hawks. And you talk about all roads leading to downtown Atlanta. 53-49. The home team has the lead in front of a sellout crowd here at Phillips Arena. I'm Ernie Johnson. This is Kenny the Jet Smith. This is Charles.
I'm Charles the Fat Barkley.
No, the spelt Barkley. I think that's the way we are going this year. Hey, we're watching Michael Jordan the other night against the Knicks. He scored 19 on the night, 7 out of 21 shooting. He's got 19 in the first half. How can you compare the two performances?
Well, it's a little bit different game tonight. I think, number one, he's playing with a lot more confidence. But also, Deion Glover got no chance to guard him. It's like shooting over a chair. Like when you have a little guy guarding you. But it's a lot better for Mike now. He's playing great.
Well, another thing, Ernie, that he doesn't have to worry about is defensively. He doesn't really have to guard like the other night against Latrell Sprewell. He's trying to do the same thing Michael's doing the offensive end. Deion is more just a defensive player.
What have you seen out of Michael, the Atlanta Hawks aside, from what you've seen in the first half tonight?
Well, just the main thing, like I said, he's playing with a lot more confidence. He's a lot more aggressive, number one. But you know what? They've got to give him some help. the other players got to step up. I'm disappointed in Christian Laettner. He has to play better. Rick Hamilton's got to play better. I mean, he needs some help. Because you see the Hawks late in the second half, the Hawks started taking the ball out of his hand. And that's the way it's going to be in the fourth quarter.
And that's why I switched his name now. No more Air Jordan. He gave you the blueprint of all the moves that he's doing. He went inside, outside. Everything that he was doing before and 3 years ago came out tonight.
Charles, how unexpected was that Kenny would promote his own nickname for Michael here within the first 3 minutes of the half?
Well, he going to hurt himself, patting himself on the back. Going to hurt his hand, going to break a finger. You know what? I'm glad to see Michael being more aggressive. But those other guys, they're not doing anything. So somebody has to step up. I thought Lon Kruger did a great job. You know, they were down, and you got to take the ball out of Michael's hands. You can't let a one-man team beat you.
The Atlanta Hawks playing their home opener, and it's 53-49 at the break. We'll be back with more here on the AT&T Halftime Report with Charles Barkley and Kenny the Jet Smith. We'll talk more of the blueprint and more in a moment.
The AT&T Halftime Report is brought to you by AT&T, proud sponsor of the NBA.
I mean, barely. Already at 1/2 here in Atlanta. 19 points as Wizards trail the Hawks in Atlanta's home opener 53-49. The AT&T Halftime Report continues here from Phillips Arena. EJ and Kenny and Charles, we've talked at length about the Wizards. How about the Hawks? This is a team that's improved themselves. Do they have a shot at the top 8, Chuck?
They're going to battle down to the wire with the New Jersey Nets and the Boston Celtics. I think they got a good chance, but they got to solve the point guard problem. I thought they were a lot better in the second quarter when Jacques Vaughn came in the game. He's more of a natural point guard. He distributed the ball well, but they got a good chance of making the playoffs.
Well, I think it's a good situation for Shareef Abdur-Rahim as well, because now you don't have to go against the monster power forwards every night with the Karl Malones, the Tim Duncans, Kevin Garnett's, and you get a chance for Rasheed Wallace. You get a chance in the East to have a little bit of a night off, and you can just concentrate on offense.
You know what I think is funny about this game? We haven't seen DeMar Johnson play yet for Atlanta, but last year he made a comment about the prospect of Michael Jordan coming back and saying, I don't know if he can deal with my crossover, and I don't think he'll try to block my stuff. I think he's smarter than that. Suddenly he's had to backtrack and say, no, I said I'd like to try my crossover on it.
Well, the reason that DeMar Johnson's not in the game is because he can't play. He should still be in college. He only had 1 year of college. He's got a chance of being a good player, but right now he can't play. He's just talented, and that don't mean anything.
Does Michael catalog that kind of talk, though? Is he aware of all that kind of stuff?
Well, obviously in the back of his mind, but Michael was always betting everybody else. It didn't matter what anybody else said.
Hey, Danny Ainge had something to say, I think, late in the first half. They took a shot of us watching the game and said at least Charles is watching the first half. But I think you have an opportunity here to maybe have a little payback for Danny, Charles.
With 8 on the clock.
Well, that's Danny on him right there, Charles. You know what? He's the reverse of Dion Glover. No defense, all offense.
Well, you know what? That's really not a big deal to me because I played with Ainge. Ainge couldn't guard anybody. That was like shooting over a chair, like Michael shooting over little Dion Glover tonight.
At least I had Charles to block shots behind me.
You know, I was a great shot blocker.
Well, Michael Jordan has 19. The Wizards are down by 4 to the Atlanta Hawks. Third quarter is coming up very shortly. We'll be back.
The AT&T Halftime Report has been brought to you by AT&T, proud sponsor of the NBA.
We're back in Atlanta. This is the NBA on TNT. We're at beautiful Phillips Arena in glistening Atlanta tonight. Night after Halloween, first night of November. It's beautiful here today. We've got a hot one going on inside. Michael Jordan has been spectacular. His Wizards at one time led by 9. Now it's 53-49. Kevin Harlan alongside Danny Ainge and John Thompson. Johnson, first half thoughts.
Well, first of all, I think obviously Michael is rejuvenated after having to rest and being away from New York, the excitement that was involved there. I also think that his teammates are starting to play a little bit better. I like what Christian Laettner did in that half.
Danny, what about you?
Well, Atlanta came back in the second quarter, 59% shooting. They got back in the game. I like Jason Terry coming off the bench. He got in foul trouble, didn't get any rhythm, but gave him some energy with that big three-point shot. But Shareef's got to be more aggressive on offense and demand the ball.
So Michael Jordan puts in 19 and looked great doing it. Let's take a look at some of the first half highlights. But it's not all Michael Jordan. There's some other people around here too, as you can see. The familiar number 23. He was hot early. getting his first 2. But then Shareef Abdur-Rahim had 9 in the first quarter.
Well,
go ahead, Coach.
One thing about him, I think he's got to stop saying us and say a little bit more because he's too good. Michael, at first they said Michael didn't have legs. I called him ground Jordan. He's going back up in the air.
You know, Tony Kukoc, we see hitting the 3 right there. Jason Terry, the big 3-pointer. Got him some momentum going into halftime. Kukoc and Terry, terrific offensive players. They've got to step up. And we see the 50% field goal shooting. That was a difference with a huge 59% in the second quarter.
And let's go over to Craig Sager.
Well, Doug Collins wasn't happy with 2 spurts in that first half. One at the end of the first quarter, one at the end of the second quarter, where the Hawks outscored his Wizards by 14 points. He said the team gets a lead, then they kind of tend to relax. He expects the Hawks to double-team Michael a lot more. Michael's halfway to the Phillips scoring record of 42 set by Grant Hill. However, he expects Michael to be more of a passer here. He told the team, now listen, Michael's going to get the ball double-team, start moving and move quickly to the basket. As for Lon Kruger, he says, as Coach Thompson said in the first half, that Shareef Abdur-Rahim has to be more aggressive. He says when he gets the ball down there, he's nearly unstoppable against this team, so he needs to get more touches and be more aggressive. Kevin?
Okay, Craig, thank you very much. Next Tuesday on TBS, we've got a great early season game. We'll be at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas, as the Orlando Magic, led by Grant Hill and Tracy McGrady. And yes, Patrick Ewing, now with his second team in the last couple years. Last year, Seattle, and now with Doc Rivers in Orlando, take on David Robinson, Tim Duncan, and a somewhat revamped San Antonio team. They've got Steve Smith on that ball club now, as Derek Anderson was signing with Portland. Smith goes to San Antonio. And here we've got Michael Jordan with his 19 points at the top of the Washington scoreboard. The Hawks with 13 from Jason Terry. And John, we're talking during the halftime, you and I were, about Abdur-Rahim, and you think he's almost too nice.
Well, he's using the wrong pronouns. Your shooter needs to say I. The coaches say us, we. Yeah, he's got to get out there and become far more aggressive because he is a very good offensive ball player. Other players have to feed off of him.
Right now, he takes it inside selfishly against Leitner, and a whistle after the miss, and a shove inside and a foul called on Dion Glover. That's his second. Now out there with Glover is Manuel Davis, Theo Ratliff, Abdur-Rahim, and Jason Terry. The Wizards begin the second half with Michael Jordan, Jahidi White, Rip Hamilton, Christian Leitner, and Chris Whitney at the point.
Well, that Michael was just giving Jahidi a coaching lesson on, hey, catch the ball, would you? Catch the ball. You say that can't be taught, Coach.
Michael's going to find out that 2 things you have difficulty teaching people. A guy who cannot shoot, it's hard to teach him how. A guy who does not have good hands, it's hard to teach good hands.
Here's Chris Whitney, who feeds to Hamilton, and back to Whitney, who looks so good against the Knicks. And Michael Jordan sinks his first second-half shot. He's got 21 in 21 minutes.
That's good ball movement right there. The ball just kept moving. Michael obviously not hesitating, feeling good, but he's getting a lot of shots up there. Not a lot of touches for the rest of the team right now.
Terry guarded by Michael Jordan. Tapped by Jahidi White. Inside, Ratliff tries to reel it in, and does, and fights, and slams.
Can't happen. That kind of thing cannot happen. You can't let him get that many touches, and particularly when the defense has the inside. Atlanta is not a big physical team. They're a elusive, quick team. You got to touch bodies.
Hamilton with an air ball. White up high and brings it in. And a foul. Count the 2. It's on Ratliff.
You watch Michael play cat and mouse right here. He's just using the screen. Jahidi's such a big body, but Michael's just hiding, waiting, knew the ball was coming up there. That's the value of Jahidi White, that wide body.
No, you're exactly right, and that's what he's getting paid for. He's got to set screens, he's got to rebound, he's got to defend. Offensively, he's got to pick and roll to the basket and get follow-up baskets, and then he's extremely valuable.
He's been a part-time starter for the last couple of years. Hamilton takes it inside and puts it down.
Great job right there. Christian Leitner, very patient, did a good job of using his body to seal. Another nice play by Christian on the offensive rebound off the missed free throw.
Minute and a half gone here in the third quarter. Kevin Harlan with John Thompson and Danny Ainge and Craig Sager here at Phillips Arena in Atlanta. It's Emmanuel Davis who shoots from outside virtually every time. Hamilton the other way into Glover and pulls up with the rebound by Abdur-Rahim. He now has 8 rebounds with his 11 points tonight.
The tempo of the game sort of surprises me with both of these teams. Neither of the teams have a strong inside presence offensively, but neither of the teams really distinguish themselves with fast break and getting easy baskets.
Glover inside, snuck into Leitner, and gets the reverse with 8 points.
And a nice pass by Theo. The double team came back off of the cutter. You really don't want to leave a cutter under the basket. Leitner just didn't get there to cover up in time, and he's not a shot blocker anyway.
Ratliff and Leitner collide after Davis had fallen, and Jordan thought he could exploit the void inside in the Atlanta defense, and he fouled for the first time as assessed Michael Jordan.
Well, they're trying to front Michael. I like that. You know, I wish Washington would do a little bit of that on the other end, making it more difficult to get the ball to the post. You might get some turnovers, believe it or not, if you front the post.
Points in the paint, identical.
Michael's not even playing Glover. He's going back in the middle.
Glover with the spin, and the shot may have been altered by White, who came in there and applied some defense, and out of bounds it goes.
Well, and he did get a fingertip on it, and that's his job. When he does that, even though he has that large body size, he's very quick getting off his feet, and he's extremely agile.
He's had a history, Jahidi White has, had a history of Achilles problems. Here's Michael over Davis with the rebound gathered in by Terry. And he'll dribble with Jordan, and now Whitney on him. And the 17-footer is pure.
And that's when they've gotten going, when they're able to get some long rebounds and get some steals and get in the open court. That's Jason Terry's best part of his game. He's a high-energy player, not a great half-court player, very good in the open court.
Well, and that's one of the reasons, Danny, why I'm surprised that they're not getting out and running. I'm very surprised even at the Wizards. Maybe it's the time of year that everybody's trying to get their offenses in.
Chris Whitney for 3 from outside. They needed that. And now the Wizards down by a point.
You know, you're talking to both coaches, though. They just don't, he doesn't have, neither one, Lon Kruger or Doug Collins, think that their team is great decision makers in the open court, and they want to be opportunistic without forcing tempo.
Glover with a 3. Here comes Michael Jordan with Davis tailing. And a nice scoop pass over to Hamilton, who converts at the other end. The Wizards are shooting 44%. The Hawks 47%. Hamilton with 13 points.
Michael encouraged him after he shot that. Now, can you imagine Michael Jordan? Here's a guy that Hamilton has grown up idolizing, posters in his house. He hits a jumper, and Michael smacks him on the head and says, way to go, guy.
A pretty nice story. It really is, the way that Michael is melted into this very young roster. Foul was just called on Hamilton.
Well, that's the additional burden Michael has on him, because not only is he playing for himself, he's encouraging and instructing and playing for other people.
Shot clock at 5. Ratliff facing White. The drive. And a foul called inside on Washington. Jordan now 38. Danny, you played until you were 36, and you had a chance in the Garden on Tuesday to talk extensively with Michael Jordan, as Leitner just picked up his second personal foul. How do you find Jordan playing at this age, at this stage of his life and career with this kind of team?
Well, he believes that this team has a losing mentality, kind of like the Clippers of the West, the East Coast have been. They haven't known how to win. They're not professional. There's just been a lot of poison that has seeped into the franchise. He believes with Kwame Brown, Brendan Haywood, that he should come in, Rick Hamilton, come in and teach them how to do it. Play 40 minutes, score 40 points one night, show up for practice the next day, get in the weight room, work on your game, teaching them how to be professionals.
Leo Ratliff was an all-star last year for the Eastern Conference, and he hits his 7th point tonight and ties the game at 60. We've had numerous ties. Wizards have led by as many as 9, Hawks by as many as 4. Here comes Whitney. Jordan. So Whitney just nailed a 3. Pretty good Atlanta defense, and he squeezes inside and finds 2 on a leaner.
Well, Whitney is starting to do a little bit of what he did against the Knicks. He's now showing the confidence to initiate some offense, and he seems to have offensive ability.
Whitney's got 7 points on a 3 of 5 night. From the field, Dion Glover, who played at Georgia Tech. Rebound by White. Quick trigger to Hamilton.
and they're using Deion Glover to be the post feeder. Michael's sagging off Deion Glover. He's having a difficult time getting the ball to their best post player. They've got to use more of a shooter to get the ball into Rahim.
Whitney with the miss. White tried to get up there and slap it in. Picked up by Abdur-Rahim, and the other way comes Emmanuel Davis, who has played in Europe and in Italy, and Leitner with a nice steal.
And that's not Emmanuel's game. He tried to do a little bit too much in transition. That's what we're talking about. There's an opportunity in transition. Lon Kruger saying, you know, terrible decision. Let's just make something easy. Explore. If you got the shots, take them. But trying to do a little bit too much.
He tried for the alley-oop to Michael Jordan. After tried a couple times on that pass tonight, it is just not flushed. Davis for three. Short, clanks off, out of bounds. It will go back to Washington. Chris Whitney has 7, as we said.
Well, right here, Whitney comes in. He gets the double team, sees it. Terry thinks the double team is still there. Whitney does a good little pivot, finds the easy shot. That's a tough shot to make, that little leaner.
Very tough shot to make. But you know, Danny, I love Whitney's confidence. His confidence level seems to be definitely blowing up.
Hamilton looking for White. Mismatch on Glover. Tries to exploit it. And he's spun and traveled.
See, I'd have rather seen Jahadi go out, set that screen for Hamilton, let Hamilton go to the basket, and then he rolls to the basket.
He plays with such passion. He plays with such emotion. And tonight it is shown. Michael Jordan has put in 21. The Wizards up by 2.
Find him guilty, ladies and gentlemen.
World Series game going on tonight. No, it does not involve the Los Angeles Dodgers with Gary Sheffield. Arizona leads at 1-0. Danny Ainge, you went to the game last night, Game 4 at Yankee Stadium. You told me today something I didn't think. You've played in All-Star games. You've played on World Championship NBA teams. But you thought the emotion and the atmosphere inside Yankee Stadium last night was the best experience you've ever been a part of?
Yeah, as a fan, particularly. I mean, it was so electric there. You know, I've always rooted for my heroes in sports. And I've always wondered, how can people be so attached to a team and a logo and a city? But, you know, growing up in Oregon, I never had that experience. Going to the Yankee game last night, I understand how people growing up in New York become Yankees fans. I have a good friend that lives in Arizona. He's a diehard Yankee fan, even though he's friends with all the Diamondback players. So I totally understand. It's like a religion more than it is a sports game.
Kukoc had a miss after the timeout. We're back here at the Phillips Arena. 5:10 to play in the third quarter. Michael Jordan guarded by Abdur-Rahim for the first time tonight. Chris Whitney has had a good third quarter. That rebound is collected by Jason Terry. And he comes flying the other way with the spin and a dish. Leitner got a hand on it, but Nazi Muhammad, just off the Lon Kruger bench, taps it up and in.
Well, and off a transition, they shot, they missed, they came down. The Wizards didn't touch, but still, I'd love to see Shareef get more involved offensively. You know, now he's trying to, and he's going to have a problem.
Jahidi White with the miss, and he felt some pressure inside. Here comes Jason Terry again. Was in the same backcourt at Arizona with Mike Bibby, now the point guard with Sacramento.
And with Mike Dickerson and Miles Simon.
What a team. NCAA champs. And a shot outside goes in. And Atlanta leads by 2. There's the rebounding story as the Hawks are clubbing the Wizards. Michael Jordan right between the eyes. He's got 23.
I've been waiting for that all summer long. Right between the eyes.
You're easily amused. Abdur-Rahim with Jordan there and Leitner. Across court to newly instated Jacques Vaughn. Another miss by Vaughn.
Jacques Vaughn is 0 for the season still. He's got to knock down those shots, and right now he's starting to put the pressure on himself.
Well, in the way Michael has been playing, Shareef is too far off of him. They should have tried to use that strategy they talked about in the beginning. Go out and get him, at least force him to drive, and somebody might help you.
Michael's got 23 points in 28 minutes. 23 points on 23 shots. Jahidi White is out as well. Popeye Jones will check in. And Tyrone Nesby takes the place of Michael Jordan as Chris Whitney nails another. He's had a great third quarter. 9 points now for Whitney.
You know, I've been really impressed with the 2 games I've seen of Popeye Jones. I mean, the guy, there's just nothing that you like about him just by watching his athleticism, but he just knows how to play.
Well, and I've been impressed with Whitney because obviously he's picking up his confidence more and more and participating in the offense.
I agree with that. He's really played well so far this year.
There's a foul. And it's called on Atlanta. And it goes on Kukoc. Abdur-Rahim moments ago had his first field goal since the final minute of the first quarter, John, kind of picking up on your theme.
Well, and that's the problem. I just think that he's too talented, too good. The difference in Michael and a lot of young players is he has the eye of the tiger. It's not just his physical ability, it's his attitude and his confidence. Speaking of which, I think Whitney's getting it. I thought the Wizards had an identity crisis when Michael wasn't in the game. I think Whitney's starting to find that he's going to give him his identity.
Well, and Popeye Jones, another offensive rebound to create that. So they're playing hard, and I think they're playing really well in the New York game and in this game without Michael on the court.
So Whitney's got 12. Abdur-Rahim with another in-close miss. He's only got 13 points with his 9 rebounds. And the Wizards the other way. Leitner has played a lot of minutes tonight, the most of any player on the floor, with his 29. Hamilton inside. Leitner in 29 minutes, 4 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists. And a foul called on Terry. He now has 3 as the Wizards lead by 3.
A packed house in Atlanta, in fact, a record crowd, 20,072, the most people ever at Phillips Arena to see a sporting event. Of course, here to see Michael Jordan against the Atlanta Hawks. It's not a record for Atlanta, though. A couple of years ago, his last game in Atlanta, 62,046. That was on March 27th, 98. Phillips Arena under construction, so they moved it to the Georgia Dome. That also is an all-time record for an NBA game, over 62,000. And in case you're wondering, Michael was the leading scorer. He had 34, and the Chicago Bulls did win that game. Kevin?
Thank you, Craig. Tonight he's got 23 in 29 minutes of work. 14 points now for Rip Hamilton. 70-66, the Washington Wizards with the lead. Jason Terry out to Tony Kukoc, who really put up all-star numbers after the trade for Mutombo last year when he came from Philadelphia. Abdur-Rahim snaking his way inside. Gets his own miss. Up and down.
Good second effort by Rahim. He's really struggled tonight, though, finishing around the basket. He's had 2 or 3 easy opportunities that he's missed in there, but good effort by Nazi keeping the ball alive.
Well, Shareef looks like he's tired, really, and sometimes there's a nervous tiredness that goes on with an athlete. He almost looks that way with some of the things he's doing out there. Tony Kukoc is another guy who I think is an underachiever offensively. He has too many offensive skills to just pass the ball around as if it's an equal opportunity experience.
Look at Jason Terry wheel the length of the floor and just smoke Christian Laettner.
I love his energy. You know, he's a guy that you really like to watch play, and you wish that the rest of the team would pick up on some of that enthusiasm.
Laettner travels. Laettner has only taken 5 shots tonight. He has 4 points and just turns it over right there.
Laettner's trying to get Whitney on him, but Laettner actually gets in the way and screens Whitney. He doesn't ever have a chance to get to him.
Abdur-Rahim for Atlanta with 15 points in the game.
Well, and he's aggressively trying to get this. He goes to the basket. I think he misses his shot, but he pursues and goes back up again. He's trying to get put back. That's the thing. He can go outside. He can go inside. He can get his off the rebound. He can get it off of the break. But when Craig Sager interviewed him, he's talking about us. He needs to be talking about I a lot more. Us is a word that coaches use.
Laettner is out. Popeye Jones along with the Thomas. Tyrone Nesby in there. Hamilton remains, as does Whitney. And his shot outside by Nazi Muhammad doesn't go. But it finally does drop with 10 points.
Nazi Muhammad's done a nice job tonight. Just a blue-collar guy out there getting everything done, but he's made some very nice post-up moves. Maybe he's been their most effective post-up player outside of Rahim.
Nesby working on the baseline, the former Los Angeles Clipper who made 22 starts a season ago for this Washington Wizards team.
Man, that was nice. You can see the Wizards gaining confidence, and if they do, and Michael's playing the way he's playing, they can be a factor.
Jason Terry looks good. He's got 19 points and almost made it 21 with that spinning shot right there.
You know, you say Kukoc isn't achieving, and I totally agree with you, Coach. He looks lost out there. He's not really been a factor offensively in this game or in the first game or in the entire exhibition season. We talk about his injury, but the guy last year when he was having so many triple-doubles and so much success, he was playing more of the point and the point forward, handling the ball all the time. Now he's more of a spacer.
Well, and that's one of the things, you get these big guys, 6'11", 6'10". Everybody talks about how they can do everything. You don't need them to do everything. Do what you can do to help your team. They want to pass the ball. They want to get out and dribble the ball like little bitty guards. You need this man to score on this team right now.
Right, but that's what he's done so well over his career. When he was in Croatia, that was where the best part of his game was playing the point guard.
And he's had foot injuries and back injuries. In fact, he wore a walking cast a good part of the offseason. As Hamilton now has 7 in the quarter, 16 in the game. Final 16 seconds of this third quarter with Jason Terry, who has looked good here in the third. Guarded by Whitney. Jordan on the bench. And a shove and a foul. And Whitney picks up his second personal foul.
They had one to give. They did. Good play by Whitney.
6.4 left here in the third quarter. Wizards have led by as many as 9. Hawks by as many as 4. Right now it's the Wizards by 2. Terry for the lead at the end of 3. Won't go. Nesby reels it in. And that will take us to the end of the third quarter. Jason Terry with a wonderful display. He's in his third year out of Arizona. An all-star a season ago with 19 points. At the end of 3, the Wizards on top by 2, 74-72. Rip Hamilton.
With us both playing the same position, I can learn as many things as possible from him. He's willing to come down and teach, on both ends of the floor, and you can't get a better teacher than the greatest player ever played the game of basketball. One thing he tells me, slow down. You ain't got to play the game 100 miles per hour. He tells me when you drive to the basket, it's always a big guy that's going to help, so stop and pull up. He tries to give me a lot of little things that really helped him.
You see what the Jordanaires have done. Michael, number 23, has put in 23. We begin the fourth quarter. Chris Whitney working around Hannah Metala. Kevin Harlan, John Thompson, Danny Ainge, and Craig Sager in Atlanta. Jordan jousting with Terry. A bump by Nesby, whose momentum more or less just carried him right into the driving Jason Terry. It is the third on Nesby. Right now, Wizards are on top, 74-72. When Jordan went out in the third quarter, the game was tied at 64.
That's a play you wouldn't have seen 3 years ago with Michael Jordan playing. Jason Terry out fighting him for the ball.
One of the things the Wizards have to be careful of, Danny, is standing around again. They did that in New York. Offensively, they've got to continue to move.
John Thomas came across Nazir Muhammad and knocked the ball away. Nazir Muhammad. It's a nice play tonight. Third foul called on Atan Thomas. And at the free throw line is Muhammad. Danny, when Michael came in the league in 84-85, he was more of an oddity and a curiosity, joining Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. Of course, the imprints are big, the 6 championships. Do you think players now still fear Jordan the way they did back when he was in his prime in the 90s?
I don't think so. I mean, I can't imagine that they would by watching him play through the exhibition season. Now, you heard Deion Glover say the nightmare continues, but he's not as quick as he was. He doesn't have the same kind of elevation. And probably the most important thing is he doesn't have the same kind of conditioning. And maybe that'll come as the year goes along. But Michael is still a great player, but he's using more of his head and his body and experience than he is just his raw athleticism. But he used to have it all, Kevin, everything. The athleticism that he could embarrass you, the conditioning, the toughness, and all the skills.
I told you Muhammad's having a nice night. 12 points now and 7 rebounds. Here comes Jordan dancing into Crawford. Got him off his horse. Outside it goes. Nesby for 2. Rebound by Tony Kukoc. He comes the other way as he is guarded by his former Chicago teammate Michael Jordan. Kukoc, the pump, the drive, and the foul. It's on Washington.
One of the things that Doug Collins said is that they just want to be in games in the fourth quarter. And then in that regards, they want to rely on Michael at the end. And they're in this ball game. I think you asked the wrong person that question about whether players fear Jordan. You need to go ask Glover that.
And 2 fouls now on Michael Jordan. At the free throw line is Tony Kukoc. 3 European championship teams, 3 championship teams with the Chicago Bulls here in Philadelphia, now beginning his first full season with the Atlanta Hawks.
You know, I used to love playing against Michael, and I think most of the players do. It gets you fired up. You're playing against the best, and that even puts in perspective how great he has been. He faces every team's best every season.
Oh, did you see Jordan? Spectacular play. 25 points.
And I would classify that as a big error. 2 points.
A lot of
I tell you, the question isn't whether they fear him today. It's will they fear him tomorrow when his legs get back under him.
Here comes Terry. Inside he throws to Medela. Picked up by Jason Terry. Can't convert. There's Nazir Muhammad. They're playing volleyball inside. Medela, no. Rebound finally clutched onto by Washington's Chris Whitney.
A lot of pushing going on under that basket that time.
Nesby for 3. Kukoc pushing Atan Thomas, who gathered in the offensive rebound. And a foul call on Atlanta.
Well, right here, Crawford's trying to make him go baseline, but there's supposed to be help. Terry doesn't do much. Nazir Muhammad late getting there, anticipates, but Michael, he almost came down on the ground.
It was help. The help was there. Only a short time, though.
Well,
in fact, it looked like 3 of them Kevin was helping on that one.
That probably, arguably, is the most captivating play that Jordan has turned in the first 1+ games. Almost now 2 at the conclusion of this.
Ooh, he's tripled his big air tonight. We can see his hops are going, but in the old days, he'd have laid that ball in from the rim. That ball, he almost came down before that ball went back up.
I don't want to hit this. Can you believe this? What is he watching?
Hey, that was a great shot, though.
Here's Atan Thomas, who missed his rookie year with the broken toe. He's playing in his 2nd NBA game tonight. He's out of Syracuse.
Now watch when he lets go of the ball. Here he comes. He jumps in the air. He gets up right there. Watch his foot come down right. Oh, he barely gets rid of it before he hits the ground.
All I want to know is what the ages were of those 3 guys who tried to guard that old 38-year-old man when he just went by him and dissed all of them.
And here he is. After that sensational play, you know, making strategic moves with Coach Doug Collins. He's unbelievable.
Well, he heard Danny, too. He heard Danny say the players didn't fear him anymore.
Jason Terry against Hamilton. We're just under 10 minutes to play here in the 4th quarter. Chris Crawford picked up by Tyrone Nesbitt. Atlanta is shooting 43%. Terry, nice pass to Medela. And a traveling violation on him. Washington will get it back. They are shooting 45% tonight. 13 Atlanta turnovers, 12 for Washington. 25 points in 31 minutes for Michael Jordan, but you can see both teams have not done all that much to begin this 4th quarter of play.
Well, and I think that's normal, particularly early in the year. Both of these teams are getting a lot of the rust out right now.
Michael will watch it count as he was fouled on the play. Or will they? Will they count? No. No, they don't count. 2nd foul on Crawford.
He's trying to coach the officials, too.
Well, why not? You can do everything else. Why not officiate on top of it? Crawford has been on in most of the 2nd half. Michael tries to get separation. Rattling out. And picked up by Hamilton. Slicing inside. Can't get it to go. It's again bopped around. Picked up by Jason Terry. He'll accelerate with a feed to Kukoc. Launching a 3. Tony Kukoc.
And I was just about to say they're struggling offensively because they're not getting anything in transition. They've got to become more of a transition team. And Rahim is their best low post player in the half court, but they got to find ways to get other guys involved.
Popeye Jones up top. He drags up Abdur-Rahim up there with him to guard. Shot clock at 4. Michael, the spin, the juke, the jive, the feed. Popeye Jones got it. He got it. What a pass by Michael Jordan.
Well, and a great catch by Popeye, too, Kevin. He threw the same kind of pass to Jihadi, and Jihadi missed it. Michael drew the 3 men to him and hit him underneath. It was a great catch on Popeye's part.
Michael Jordan now with 3 assists in the game. Washington by 1. Abdur-Rahim continues to struggle. He is 5 of 12 shooting from the floor tonight for Atlanta.
Well, it's very hard to be as passive as he's been throughout the game. And now when the adrenaline starts to flow the way it is now, he doesn't do it. But look who's playing the point guard now. They got a new point guard.
Richard Hamilton got the Jordan feed. Now 4 assists. And Rip's got 18 points tonight and a 3-point lead for the Wizards.
And what a great idea to have Michael Jordan at the top of the key, delivering that ball to Richard Hamilton, because they're not going to leave Michael Jordan. And they're coming out. Look at all the people just surrounding Michael Jordan. The new rules allow you not to have to go through with cutters. But Popeye, great job of bailing him out, moving without the ball.
Well, he went down and made 2 straight assists after hitting those offensive plays. The first one he hit Popeye, now he hits Hamilton right here. Hamilton goes up and makes the basket. He's doing everything. I think they do still fear him, Kevin.
There's a timeout.
And that's some hang time that maybe Michael doesn't still have. But when you look at Michael tonight, what is your opinion of him?
He looked pretty good to me. You know, the thing I've told people, I say, you know, Michael, once he gets his legs on him and get that court shape back, it's going to be easier for him to play more fluently. You can see he's more fluent in this game than he was the last game. And we as a team, we can't get so much caught in the hype of Michael being back, because we have to play our game. And, you know, sometimes you find yourself sitting there watching, and, you know, that's Michael.
You extended your career until the age of 39. What's the most difficult challenge for Michael?
I think the difficult challenge for him is playing with guys who can give him some legitimate rest, where give him an opportunity to come back in where he don't have to carry the load, you know, at the end of games. And he's going to have people who can step up and take that pressure off. I think that's the biggest problem he's going to have.
We enjoyed your career, especially those times when you posterized Danny Ainge and the Boston Celtics.
No comment.
Kevin.
All right, Craig, Michael Jordan tonight has played a little over 33 minutes. He got a screen from Thomas.
And I agree with Danny about Popeye. Popeye's putting in the night's work, Danny, out here.
He is. He's doing a great job on Raheem. And he just does a little bit of everything. Plus, he just knows how to play.
Michael Jordan now with 27 points. Hawks have hit 1 field goal the last 5 minutes and 45 seconds. It's Theo Ratliff back in the game. Grinding inside against Tom Thomas and hits.
That's a tough shot right there. Pretty good defense by Thomas, but they just allow that post catch so easy, and they put the defense at such a disadvantage.
Absolutely. It's entirely too easy, and I think Etan is better than that. He's got to challenge him a lot more aggressively, particularly at this stage of the game.
Kevin Harlan, John Thompson, Danny Ainge, and Craig Singh. You're in Atlanta. Foul called on Theo Ratliff.
Right here, Crawford's doing a pretty good job of keeping Michael right there, contesting with his little leg, but Michael just kind of shoots it a foot higher than he normally would do. That's a tough shot, and good defense by Crawford.
Good shot, too, by our cameraman, David Husney, here in Atlanta. This has really been an event tonight. And you almost think more of a game and more of an event than it was at Madison Square Garden on Tuesday. Jordan leaning in a little bit high. Crawford may have altered the shot. Nesby gathers it. Shot clock at 3. And a miss. Rebound by Abdur-Rahim.
And another good job by Crawford right there, making Michael shoot the tough one right there. The fans behind me are yelling, why they got Crawford? And I think he's doing a better job than anybody has tonight.
Well, and that's why those guys are fans. Crawford is very aggressive. And at least if he cannot guard Michael, he definitely is not afraid to challenge him.
Jason Terry is not afraid to challenge, too. He's got 21 points in 33 minutes. Atlanta leads in rebounding now. They are +7 in that category for the game.
You know, I think the one thing that Atlanta has right now is they just have a good defense again by Crawford. But Washington looks a little bit more fatigued. Michael's starting to get a little tired. Popeye's definitely tired for all the battling that he's doing underneath. And Atlanta looks fresher.
Crawford has guarded him the most out of that group and has done the best job.
The last 2 possessions, he's done a perfect job. Michael not even draw any rim.
Wizards lead by 1. Jordan's been great. This weekend, it's the drama of NASCAR on TNT. It's off to Rockingham, North Carolina. TNT has the Busch race on Saturday and the Winston Cup race on Sunday. And for complete schedule information, log on to NASCAR.com. They are talking about the defense of Chris Crawford on Michael Jordan.
Well, he's made one very difficult shot on Crawford. Crawford forced him to shoot an air ball in the last possession, and this possession doesn't hit any rim. 3 straight possessions of great defense by Crawford on Michael.
By the way, Michael Jordan has only taken 2 free throw shots tonight, and in his career, he has averaged a little over 8 free throws a game. 5 seconds to shoot. Popeye Jones finds Jordan. And fading away, missed it all. Picked up by Hamilton. 1 second to shoot. Rejected inside by Rattle.
I think that's the first block shot by Theo tonight.
And he had 6 against Houston on Tuesday in Texas.
If they even count that, the shot clock might have gone off.
I don't think they will.
But, you know, again, Michael lost control of the ball and was forced to shoot with the shot clock. But the size and athleticism of Crawford forced him to be the basket to get a little dark.
What do you come up with this stuff? 5.5 to play here in the 4th quarter. Abdur-Rahim rejected by Tom Thomas, then persevered inside and got his 2.
Well, Tom made a great play, but like most young players, he relaxed after one effort. He needed to go back and recover from the play that he had made. I also think that Michael needs a screen about now. He doesn't need to just be using energy to try to beat this man one-on-one. But how about Popeye?
He's got 9, John, so far. Under 5 to play. Wizards and Hawks both looking for their first win of the season.
And we see whenever Michael starts getting a little bit tired and not having great success, he goes out to the point guard and becomes the passer.
The quick double forces the pass. Crawford thrown away. Caught by Michael Jordan.
Body's tight, but his mind is not. On the weak side, he just slipped in there and stole that pass.
He tries to shave his way inside, and a foul call.
And this is the play that I was talking about. Etan goes up. He comes over from the weak side. Popeye lays a body on him. Etan comes over and makes a real good play. He more than anybody should have known where that ball was, recovers and goes back and gets it, but he relaxes after the first effort. That's just a question of experience.
Chris Crawford just picked up his 3rd personal foul. Rip Hamilton fires and nails it in. And now the Wizards on top. 86-83. Hamilton's got 20, and that's what they need. More scoring than just Michael Jordan and Hamilton supplying it tonight.
And they needed a good screen, Kevin.
Yes, and they got that as well. With 4:13 to play.
Just
you don't put dead people.
2 times against the Utah Jazz. Michael Jordan tonight is dazzling us like we remember. In 35 minutes, he's poured in 27 points. He had 1 spectacular play in the second half that truly was jaw-dropping. And now can he keep John and Danny the endurance, because we still have a good deal left in this game at 4:13.
Well, I think he definitely can, but I think he's going to need a screen on offense. Defensively now, the Wizards definitely have to be ready to give support. They have to be definitely able to get the only 1 shot for the Hawks. You can't give them 2 shots. But look at the guy who goes and gets the ball.
Jordan caught that ball after the miss by Abdur-Rahim, and a foul was called away from the ball on Theo Ratliff of Atlanta.
Well, and this is the time of the game that Rahim was criticized playing in Vancouver. He was too young and not tough enough mentally to take over games. Didn't do a good job in Houston in game 1, and this is where he's got to elevate his game. The difference between Michael Jordan winning all those championships is his ability to finish games. That's probably the greatest asset of all the things we talk about. The last 2 minutes of the games are when he has his great success.
Well, and it's reflected in the fact that we're talking about the points he scored. He stole the ball on the weak side. That was a crucial rebound. He came through and got a crucial rebound. A lot of the little intangible things in the game this man does, and he does them extremely well at the right time.
Michael Jordan's 4th free throw tonight is up and in. He now has 29 points. The lead is 5 for Washington. Their biggest lead tonight has been 9.
I find it interesting that Doug Collins has Thomas in the game playing center right now versus Christian Laettner. Christian's numbers aren't impressive tonight, but I thought he's played a pretty darn good game.
But he still looks slow to me, Danny.
He never was quick.
Exactly.
He's the bionic man.
What do you mean bionic man?
Everything in slow motion.
Well, and if you remember correctly, Danny, in New York, Kwame hadn't played a long time, and late in the game, he put Kwame in. So it must just be a strategy that he has. But
That Jason Terry's got great acceleration.
Well, he does, but that's what the Wizards have to do. They can't give him 2 shots. Once they defend, and the Hawks have been getting second shots on them, but they can't do that.
Michael Jordan, guarded by Crawford again. Winds the ball, feeds inside. Thomas can't slam, and a travel. And a Washington turnover. That's the 14th on the Wizards tonight.
But that's a nice play. That'll come from playing with each other. That was good timing on the cut and a good catch. He just wasn't sure. Didn't have the good footwork coming in, but here's a good cut. I'm not sure that was traveling. That was pretty close.
Neither team with a foul to give. 3 timeouts for Washington, 2 timeouts remaining for Atlanta. We're approaching 3 minutes to play in the game. Theo Rattler dancing around inside and makes it go again. He's hit 2 in a row. He now has 11 points and brings the Hawks to within 3.
Not bad defense. He just lets him catch the ball in the post, and he's not long enough to block his shots.
Exactly. It's the length of his body. Thomas is not long. Rattler can just stretch over him and get it. But that's what he needs to do.
Atan Thomas with a great pass from Chris Whitney. 4 points for Thomas.
This kid is better than he's been playing. Maybe that'll give him the confidence because he definitely can play a lot better than he has been playing.
The Jordanaires are helping Jordan tonight. 5-point Washington lead with 2.5 to play in the game and a whistle away from the ball. And it's on Thomas. He now has 4.
Well, Thomas is working hard right here, but he lets him catch the ball right there in the post, and then he's wrestling match right there. But nice touch, and they're coming back to Theo. He's like their go-to guy right now, but he goes over for the block again. He gives up the basket a little bit too soon. Easy basket by Thomas.
Here's the thing about Jordan. When you recall his days in Chicago, yes, he was orchestrating, but he had people of the same level to confer with and talk to. Who does he bounce ideas off on this team right now? I guess except the coach, Doug Collins.
Well, and I think that he understood that coming. Excuse me, coming in. One of the things that he said is he didn't have expectations for this team, Kevin. He had hopes for this team. And I thought that that was a very revealing statement because he knew he was playing with young players. But in the same token, I still think he has enough ability to really give courage to these kids.
Like, you know, he could talk with Paxson. He could talk with Pippen. Great steal by Crawford.
Crawford's had an impact on this game.
Absolutely. He's a terrific player. And Thomas is getting him in foul trouble, just giving him easy free throw opportunities.
A 5th foul is put on Atan Thomas. A cameraman on the baseline was annihilated. Watch on this play by Crawford, right side of your screen. And right there, right over the guy. But the guy is up. And it appears to be no worse the wear. Watch this.
Good play, though. Just good anticipation and good athleticism getting in the air and keeping the ball alive. But, you know, getting back to what you said about Michael Jordan, well, you know, the year Michael didn't play, they didn't win 56 games, I think, you know, all those guys. This team won 19 without Michael Jordan and Michael later on. So Michael came to a team 56 that could win without him. He took him over the hump to 70 in championships.
And, John, just think what this win would mean for Jordan. The second game back, the second game for Doug Collins on the road against an up-and-coming Eastern team like Atlanta.
Well, it definitely would mean a lot for them, but it also, you look at guys like Popeye. We talked about stepping up in the open. You look at Whitney has stepped up. I think Christian Laettner has played well. Hamilton definitely has played well.
And on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week, we will be in San Antonio on Tuesday on TBS, the Magic and the Spurs. Then Washington and Jordan at Boston on TNT on Wednesday. And then the 76ers and the Houston Rockets on Thursday on TNT. That'll be a good game. That Houston backcourt of Moochie Norris, Steve Francis, and Catino Mobley is exciting a trio to watch in any backcourt league-wide.
Yeah, they are. And, you know, I think with the new rules, they're kind of trying to take away the isolation. It really hasn't come into play yet. In game 1, they were still able to isolate. But I think they're going to have a tougher time, and they're going to try to find different ways. And Steve Francis is one of the elite players in the league.
One of the guys he mentioned are great transition players, too. They can get out and run and get early offense.
John Thomas playing with 5 fouls. Gives to Whitney. Shot clock at 10. Final 2:15 in regulation. Michael Jordan picked up by Crawford. Doubled by Terry. Outside. Wide open. Whitney for 3. And a rebound by Thomas again on the offensive glass. Goes inside. Ratliff knocked it away. But again, it's vacuumed in by the Wizards. 2 minutes to play in a fresh 24.
Well, Thomas did his job that time. He went to the board. He wasn't able to put it back. But that's what they need him for.
Look at Jordan driving inside. Michael Jordan can't get it to go. Thomas almost grabbed it. Here comes Terry. A foot race with Hamilton. To the trailing Crawford. Outside Kukoc for three. Rebound by Anton Thomas, who has been brilliant coming off the bench.
Playing with a lot of energy out there. You know, he's got to make better decisions when he gets the ball back. Make sure he uses clock rather than trying to force the ball inside over Theo.
But one of the things that he has to do, he's doing, and that's get the ball. A lot of big guys, again, I want to say, try to do too much. Rebound the ball, defend, and get out there and do your job.
Hamilton over Kukoc. Rebound by Ratliff. Theo now with 4 rebounds tonight. That's the timeout story remaining. We're approaching 60 seconds to play in regulation with Washington leading by 4. Jordan has scored 29. Abdur-Rahim, who has had a horrible night from the field, picked up by Chris Whitney.
He got a good shot, but again, you got to give Popeye some credit. Popeye knows he wants to go to that jump hook and did an excellent job of making him shoot over a body and was very strong down underneath, making him stay away from the rim.
This is Jordan time, and you know that he's going to try to pull some heroics, and he tried right here as he took it inside and missed, but his team still leads 90-86.
Well, right here, they got to make sure they use some clock up, first of all. They want to try to get the shot right at the shot clock, so there's only 31 seconds left in the game when they go back on defense with a 4-point lead and a 2-possession lead. And to get the ball in Michael Jordan's hand and either let him play one-on-one or try to create if they double-team him.
Well, last year, there's no way the Wizards would have believed as strongly as they believe right now that they can win that game. This game. And one reason that Michael Jordan is out there on that floor, regardless of who takes the shot or who makes it, he gives them the confidence they need right now.
Whitney for 3. Good! Chris Whitney buries it from 3-point territory. 15 points. That may give it to the Washington Wizards tonight with a half minute to play. Jordan guarding Terry. And outside for Abdur-Rahim, who is now 6 of 18 shooting tonight. The rebound for the Wizards. A foul by Jason Terry with authority on Chris Whitney, and now Terry's got 4.
Well, big shot by Whitney right there. We've seen him. He's probably the purest shooter they have on their basketball team. They decided to double team him and leave him open. But this is the difference between winning. We talked about down the stretch. Michael doesn't have to score all the baskets right here. This is Steve Kerr for the Chicago Bulls. I mean, those guys have to be able to make baskets. And Whitney is a great shooter, but they never had that guy, and that's why they won 19 games.
First time we've seen Jordan smile in 2 games.
Well, he has something to smile about.
Yes, he does. A flagrant foul, obviously, and Whitney by himself at the free throw line. It's on Jason Terry. The clock at 21 seconds. The crowd begins to file out, and the Wizards may have notched their first win. And Michael Jordan triumphant in his second game back, in his second comeback in the NBA. He came back once back in 1995. And now in his second comeback, it has taken to game 2 to notch that first win. He's played 40 minutes. He has been Phillips Arena. The timeout story is Washington has 1 timeout. That is a 20. Atlanta has 2 timeouts. There has been some confusion at the official scores table as to who is called and who has been assessed. But they have meted it out over there right now, and we have done the same as Lon Kruger shows his admiration for Michael with the slap on the behind. And
well, Michael's president has given these guys a chance to succeed, and Whitney's had a good game. Popeye Jones has played fantastic. Hamilton's made big shots, and Thomas in the fourth quarter has done a great job of working under the basket.
And I think Doug Collins deserves a lot of credit for putting Thomas in late in the ball game like that to let him acquire that kind of experience out there. Thomas came through. He's been very tight, but he's done a great job, as Danny indicated, in the latter part of the game. The Hawks, on the other hand, I think they are 2 equal opportunity about the things that they do, and somebody's got to surface because it's a very talented team and initiate something.
Michael Jordan from the free throw line now has gone 4 of 5. And I guess he is proving with his first 30-point game since 1998 that he is back. 13 of 30 from the floor. He played 41 minutes tonight. He played 37 minutes in the game against the New York Knicks.
And he probably gets double-teamed more with this team than he did ever with the Bulls. And so 30 points tonight being double-teamed as much as he is pretty impressive.
You know, and he gets and he's had help tonight, but he helps the help by being out on the floor. These guys have a lot more confidence in playing with points because he's out there.
Terry slips by Jordan, 12 seconds to play. Wizards on top 96-88, and a foul called on Kukoc, with Hamilton taking it the other way, and a second foul called on Tony Kukoc. It is amazing, though, in this league where team basketball is so vital, that one guy, one player, and of course we're talking about perhaps the most extraordinary player to ever play on professional basketball's hardwood, would have this kind of effect and take no-name players like Jahidi White and Chris Whitney and Courtney Alexander and Atan Thomas and Teron Lee and Tyrone Nesby, guys that most of the people don't know. I mean, we ourselves had to explore a bit as Jordan walks off and a standing ovation.
What a difference a day makes.
Wow.
What a difference a day makes. Well, and I think that's one of the things that, you know, greatness does. You have an effect on other people, and certainly he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest, that's ever played the ball game. But one of the things that I think has to happen is somebody with the Hawks have to surface like that to alleviate the pressure on the other players, Danny, that are out there.
Absolutely, and I think Tony Kukoc has to step it up offensively, and Raheem obviously is a great player, but Kukoc was showing such great leadership at the end of last year, and I think he's still suffering the effects of a bad foot.
Basket will not count, and Michael Jordan is officially back. Congratulations to Doug Collins, a smile on his face, a hug for his players. We know what Jordan did. Chris Whitney put in 16, and Hamilton had 22. Let's go to Craig Sager.
All right, Michael, what's the difference between Tuesday and tonight for you personally and for your team?
I hit some shots. I think we collectively didn't have that 15-minute stretch where we was disoriented and we just didn't execute. I think we had a little short stretch there in the second quarter, but I think overall, you know, the second half we played pretty consistent.
Did you expect to feel this good in the second game of the year? 31 points?
Hey, you know, my rhythm is coming. You know, I still didn't shoot the ball particularly well like I wanted to, but I got some good rhythm. I made some tough shots. You know, I even dunked the ball again. So, I mean, you know, my rhythm's coming, you know, and it's a long season.
You said you want to teach, train, and tutor this team. Obviously, the Jordanaires played very well tonight. What are your expectations of your teammates in this team?
Just to get better. You know, understand the facets of the game. You know, these are young kids who probably never been coached really thoroughly for the NBA. All we want to do is make sure that they continue to improve each and every day, and in the mix of that, we want to continue to win.
Great job. Congratulations. Good luck in your home opener.
All right.
Kevin?
All right, Craig, thank you very much. 31 points from Michael Jordan. Washington gets their first win. They get it by 10. The smiles on the face tell the whole story for not only Jordan, the Wizards, but the entire NBA. He is back, and in a big way. And now for John Thompson, Danny Ainge, and Craig Sager, our producer Mike Burks, our director Lonnie Dale, and our statistician Pat McGrath. This is Kevin Harlan saying so long from Phillips Arena in Atlanta. What a game. Jordan spectacular. Now let's go to Ernie Johnson in our studios.